That is not going to be easy to deal with. Entire rebel army. Welcome back to the fight here, boys, at Fort Donaldson, Tennessee. That's right, we came to relieve the actual men in the fort, but we ended up getting into a pretty massive fight with this Confederate force, and I am just loving it. So many of the Confederates pushing through here. We have actually had a few of our units routed, but we've managed to rout 1, 2, 3 Confederate units. You can see them running there in terror. You've got to love that. If we wanted to, we could even put some of these guys in a trench formation, but I'd prefer to just keep deploying skirmishers. It's worked out pretty well for us in the past. Just deploy skirmishers once again and engage the existing enemy units right here. So we're going to push them forward. In fact, we'll have them start firing on Gibson's brigade. And even though we are kind of out in the open here, I think we can put up a pretty good fight to the enemy present in the area. Now, I'm not worried too much about these guys. I am worried about the massive Confederate army arriving to the South Road, and we'll do whatever we can to hold it, but I'm just going to commit this many forces to it. The rest of these guys, I might actually take a fallback position, with the exception of the artillery. I do want to push the artillery forward, and that's why we're getting 1st Division to move forward as well under McClelland. Yeah, those artillery are having a little bit of trouble getting across, but we want to put them right there and readjust once the battle begins. I'll also grab Sweeney's group, and I'm not going to break them off into skirmishers. I want the full might of that brigade. Also, the 1st Brigade, the Zouaves. These guys have got to see some combat, and maybe we should put them in the woods as a precautionary measure. So a lot going on here right now, as you can imagine, but let's just get our eyes on the actual combat at hand. It's always fun to watch and see how we're doing against the Rebs. Push them forward. Come on, come on. That's good enough, son. That's good enough. 2nd Brigade, open fire. I'm going to cancel that movement immediately. Let's just have them fire. There we go. Yeah, some pretty devastating fire from the Confederates over here. For those of you that saw the first part of the battle, they just were not getting very effective shots. That has since changed pretty significantly. Although, as you can see, still a lot of gray coats on the field. We are holding the South Road, and as long as we hold it, I feel pretty comfortable about this position. 10:50 in the morning, still a lot of fighting to go, in case anybody was hoping for an early battle. But let's just make sure we get that artillery up. Just not a lot of artillery on the field right now for our side. So I'd like to push them up and really try to test the enemy. Hold on, boys. Look at those skirmishers, man. Just tremendous from John MacArthur. I love that beret, too. Didn't know berets were in style at this time period, but they're looking real good. And we might even be able to open fire on the Jackson Brigade here. Let's do it. Get to the edge of the woods and open fire on Jackson's brigade. Why not? Although that's devastating fire coming from the Confederates, I do believe they're about to break through. We're reinforcing that wooded line. We're even going to bring 1st Brigade up to engage Gibson here. And as you can see, we're also bringing forward 3rd Brigade, so I think they're going to be extremely helpful here under Sweeney. Come on now, Sweeney. Get the Zouaves there. This is hopefully going to be almost a replica of the Battle of Red Hills. Although I don't think so, because if you look over here, look at this fresh group of rebels arriving. That's not going to be easy to deal with. Looking good, looking good. I'm going to get a little closer into range. And you know what? There's no reason we shouldn't detach skirmishers. Let's do that too. It's just been so helpful in the past, I figure we might as well continue that, that particular tradition, let's call it. Let them go first, get the best shots possible on Gibson's brigade, and hopefully break through. We'll also take a look real quickly here at the town, just make sure that nobody's getting behind us. And I don't think they are. We also have men arriving here. I don't think we have reinforcements arriving from here, but we've got men arriving from other parts of the battlefield. Alright, these boys, for instance, Sherman's men. Good old General Sherman. We're going to go direct him right to the battlefield. The more the merrier. Although it looks like the skirmishers may have pulled back just a bit. Make sure Sweeney takes their place. The skirmishers fire, they move back, and then the rest of Sweeney's men push forward. It's the way of the battle, boys. Now we've got ourselves a proper fight, guys. Unlike the last battle, which was a complete victory. And look at this. The enemy even have cavalry behind us. We've got to be careful. But you can see a lot of bluecoats dead there as well. And look at that. They broke Marsh's detachment. Damn good job here. Let's push Tuttle forward. Exceptional job. I want to push these guys forward to start dealing with Jackson. I just don't want to leave that area open, especially to Jackson's brigade, because now they can start getting some flanking shots. In fact, we're going to kind of flip this brigade around, or else Wraith is going to get chewed to pieces. That's good enough. Fire. Set up that cannon. Set up that cannon right at that clump of soldiers. We'll eventually also break away the skirmishers here from Veach's brigade. Look at that. 3rd Brigade is falling back. Man, the rebels are giving us hell. I think at this point, you know what? I'm just going to stick to the forest exclusively. We're not going to push any more men up here to the front. Just not wise. Hold on, hold on. The rest of these guys are going to have to stay put, but no one else moves up here, or else everybody's going to get killed here at the South Road. So we'll take the Zouaves. And with the Zouaves, I think I just want to kind of put them right about there. I'd love to at least break that Gibson brigade there, because then we could get some flanking shots. But frankly, I'm thinking all of these infantry are going to have to fall back at some point. And what do you know? The enemy cavalry is pushing forward over here. I didn't think they would actually do it, but they certainly are. Just going to bring Lawman's men over here to the woods. Let's start reinforcing these woods, as a matter of fact. We've already got a few detachments reinforcing the area. But we might want to reinforce those woods further, or simply send in Peabody and a few of these other guys to continue the fight. I mean, we're doing okay over here. Who knows? Maybe this could turn into something grand. So I'll send in a few more men. 2,846. That's nearly 3,000 men that we could potentially be sending into harm's way, but I think it has to be done. Prepare to fire, Sweeney. Send these Rebs to hell. Zouaves look to be in a tough position, too. There we go. Like to see that firing. And we'll make sure to push the skirmishers up as well. Yeah, we've got plenty of men arriving, but I'm more concerned or more focused on getting the artillery here. How did we do this before? Cancel an order. There we go. So we want to push them there. Get them as close to the front line as possible. In fact, we could just select a target for them and they'll know to start firing there. And I'm just trying to hit that clump of rebels right in the middle. I'll tell you this much. This is a battle that's going to cost both sides significantly. Although we should win because we outnumber the enemy, but the Union lost quite a few battles where they outnumbered the Confederates. Fire. Get up to that stone wall. There is a nice, well, not a stone wall, but a wooden wall. Not the best cover. Since we're getting flank shots, we want to flip these guys around. Grab MacArthur's brigade. They've gotten quite a few kills here. The issue is they're actually running out of ammunition. We haven't seen that happen in quite a while. Or they will be fairly soon. We need more shots, Sweeney. Come on, what are you doing? Sometimes you gotta kind of give them a little morale boost. There we go, they're reloading. I know I'm just focusing on one part of the battlefield. If you guys don't like that, then let me know in the comments. But the truth is that in this battle, this is the most important part of the battlefield. And I want you guys to get you know, the most cinematic experience possible with these episodes. I don't want to move them out of the woods. Let's push them over here where the Zouaves are. And look at that. We'll have the Zouaves and we'll have Carol Marsh's brigade prepared to defend. We can't forget that we do have some cavalry here, but I'm watching that rebel cav. In fact, I'm going to send Colonel Robert Ingersoll out there to deal with some of that rebel cav. Let's see what happens. Push that artillery forward, too. Ingersoll! Hit those ribs. Can't believe the Reserve Corps HQ is still hanging out here. Alright, you know what? Maybe I've been lured into a bad situation, but I do think we should push up just a bit more and reform that line. That's just a strong central line. The closest general we have, though, is McClellan. We probably should get a general a little closer to that line there. Prepare to fire. I'm sure no soldier wants to get on that front line because they see all of their comrades downed after the vicious fighting. But we've got to do it. We've got to keep pushing forward. Might even make a group of skirmishers out of the Zouaves, although I think I want to keep that 2,000. That's a nice amount of men. And look at that, with the enemy moving over here with artillery, we absolutely are going to have to move the Zouaves out there. Let's push them. And we'll also engage that artillery with this infantry unit. Whatever it takes. We can't have Artie on our flank like that. Looks like we might also be able to look at that. We're getting shots on Clanton's brigade, even with infantry, as well as our own cavalry, and they are dropping like flies. In fact, I think they got off their horses. They're fighting on foot. Oh, never mind. That's just their horses, but they are fighting on foot here. Keep it up, boys. Keep it up. Let's push Sweeney even closer, because he's just not firing those shots consistently, and that's not making me happy. Peabody? Starting to get some flanking shots on the enemy there, but look at that. A whole another Confederate force approaching, and this time shifting over there to the south, which is not making me happy one bit. They just have a lot of men here in this fight. There's no doubt about it. And maybe if we could smash this group, we can make a big difference. But this could be where the rebels actually do pretty well. See, they've also lured my infantry out. I might try to do a charge. Doesn't look like we can do a charge. Just fire. Yep, that line is being forced back for sure. We've got more men arriving, but again, maybe best to just set them up over here. Let's set these guys up right over there at the South Road. We are not taking up positions there, but I will keep some men here because we've got a hill, and this is not such a bad position to hold. Let's do this. We'll put the artillery right there, and put, I believe these are Sherman's men, actually. I know they're commanded by Thayer for now, but I'm going to start just kind of pretty much creating a second line, folks. I don't think that first will hold, although they have fought bravely for sure, and it looks like Sweeney is finally getting some shots. I want to see breakage here. We've broken a few of the enemy already in the first part of this battle, but I'd like to see some more enemy regiments break. Keep it up, boys. Keep it up. Fire on Gladden's brigade. He's about to break himself, and look at that. I knew that was going to happen. Second brigade breaking after chasing the artillery. They must have gotten a lot of canister shot there. You know what? Let's not even focus on the artillery. Let's get the Zouaves over here focusing on the infantry. If we take shots, we take shots. It is what it is. Looks like they're pulling back a bit and taking nasty, nasty flanking shots there. Keep it up. Keep it up, 1st Brigade. Peabody. Don't let a single one of them get away. Now, these men are poorly trained. Most of the men in our army are poorly trained with a few exceptions. They are mostly conscripted into the army. But nonetheless, they've got that absolute hatred for the rebel. And they're showing it here in this battle. But can we break them? They haven't routed yet. If we can rout them, that's a huge bonus. So I'm going to try to target them as well with Hare's men. The more the merrier. The Zouaves stand ready. But of course, you could just see consistent canister shot exploding overhead. That doesn't help anybody, and a bunch of the Zouaves are falling just with all that shrapnel dropping down on them. It's kind of to be expected. Yeah, we truly have a nice battle going on here. A true bloodbath. Get him! Reload! Zouaves are breaking. Zouaves are breaking. Let's see how that secondary line is coming across. Coming along, rather. Wouldn't be a bad idea to put some of the infantry in there, too. Yeah, that's about our entire army. Man, this battle got pretty vicious pretty fast. There we go, guys. We finally broke them. Gibson has been broken. And hopefully this means we can go ahead and sort of, as you can see, start to close the enemy in a bit. It's going to take a lot of movement, but it should work if all goes to plan. We're still fighting. We're not giving up, you bastards. We are not giving up. Peabody. It's a nice volley there. Always good to see a group retreating from the battlefield. Well, as long as it's not our group, of course. And I want to make sure that this infantry doesn't chase that unit to Timbuktu, so let's pull them back. Good job, though, Miller. We appreciate your service. And I might actually just take the Ingersoll artillery unit, or excuse me, a cavalry unit, and just get some shots on Claiborne's detachment. I'm going to do the same here with Veach's men. Just try and see if we can at least knock down some of the enemy there. Because right now they're forcing us out of the woods. They're putting us in a pretty awkward position, let's be honest. Knock them down, boys. Knock them down. I feel like that group is about to break. But that doesn't make me feel better about all of the fresh rebel units arriving at the battlefield here. Get him, boys. Look at that. Additional Confederate units coming from the south. My goodness, guys. They're trying to block us in here. I will start setting up in the woods, facing them. But this is a hell of a move by the Rebs. Well, we're just going to restructure that line. If you're looking from up here, you can see that we really do have like a sort of C formation here. But with a lot of our units leaving, we need reinforcements. And I do believe we have reinforcements arriving at some point in this battle. I hope so. If not, this is going to be a massive victory, I think, for the Confederacy. All right, nice. Push the boys up. Don't chase, don't chase. Fix this before. How do we just stop it from moving? There we go. And now. There we go. Good, good, good. We might be able to send Gladden on the run. And if we can really damage the units here, then we only have to worry about the guys from the south. I know it's still a lot of them, but it's probably a good idea to kill as many as possible here. And I think Gladden will be the next Confederate casualty. Make sure 1st Brigade is targeting Jackson here. It's a really strong unit, and I assure you they're well trained. But 668 casualties. Let's see how many casualties we've caused Gladden. 369. Not quite as many. We want to keep that going. Two devastating volleys on the way here. Look at that. They're priming their rifles. This should send them running. I think it will. Let's get Sweeney's skirmishers over here in the woods. So it's still saying 369. They still haven't fixed that part of the game where the casualties update. So we definitely have caused more than 369 casualties to them, that's for sure. We're getting full frontal shots. We're actually seeing their men drop. Hell, if we want to, we could go for a charge. Just not sure how wise of a decision that is going to be. Incredibly, one of our units that retreated, Miller, is still fighting off the enemy that's advancing here from the south. That's pretty brave. Guess that kind of ended up working in our favor. And you can see that Gladden is... They're starting to shatter, but they're still not shattered. There we go. Finally! 369. Let's see if that casualty... And 903. That's a more realistic casualty count. We are going to continue the push. We might as well. I don't want them coming back to the battlefield. And once the rebels see all of those casualties, I doubt that they'll want to come up this hill again. So at least this location will be safe. Pushing right onto the next enemy challenge here. And that's going to be Jackson's brigade. And that's a challenge. But look at that. Also managed to push Claiborne's detachment back with 2nd Brigade. And let's bring in Ingersoll and hit Heinemann as well. With Ingersoll's support, his cavalry support there, we did manage to cause quite a lot of damage. I love it. Look at that, boys. Look at that. Despite a lot of losses, and I mean a lot of losses, I can only imagine, we're still pushing forward.